What's up guys, welcome to this new video. Last week I made 291,000 with fucking fashion dropshipping, guys, and no, it's no luck, no, it's no gambling, stuff like that, it's all systems and backend discipline, guys. And in this video I'm going to explain you guys everything, exactly how I find the products, exactly how I optimize my store for CVR and AOV, how I also launch the ad, how I control scaling without burning margin, and how I use my backend to keep everything profitable and stable. Because at the end of the day, guys, it's not so important how you can scale all beautifully in the fucking front end. But if your cash is just leaking away in the backend, it's basically not worth it, right? So I'm going to display you guys everything in this video. So please make sure to watch the entire video to get as much value out of it as possible. So let's get into it. So how did I exactly find winning products that scale for me? Now, like what's at the end of the day super important is first you need to identify okay, how do I find these competitors? Because at the end of the day, the Facebook ad library is just a tool so you can find other competitors that are scaling, right? And how do you find them? It's just based by ad copies, by the ad copy, by headline, by description, just everything what they have in their creative you can basically search for, right? So what do you need is you need a good sheet where you have already a bunch of keywords where you can already see okay, maybe competitors are maybe scaling with this kind of words in the ad copy or these kind of words in the ad copy. So let's say a bunch of people are, for example, running anniversary sales, also use words like, for example, anniversary or anniversary sale or something like that. Like you see a bunch of guys running with specific hooks, sales, also make sure to use these kind of words, So after you got these keywords in, what's really important is you can always write them down in 3 simple ways. So let's say we take the word anniversary. You can or write it down just normally like I do right now, or you can basically search for the exact sentence, or what you can also do is you type in anniversary / collections, or you type in anniversary / products. With every keyword that you right now have, you already have 4 combinations, so it's getting quite easy, And guys, what's really important is I always use the tool Denote, so I can always track the spend, of course only from EU markets, because when I'm doing research in USA, I'm not using that tool, but this is the basic way how I find my products basically. So what's really important when you find these competitors, you really want to write them down. So I always use a competitor research database for this. Guys, this is just really important and really game changing, because you exactly want to write down okay, how does this competitor make it work? How many active ads does he have right now, and what's the longest active ad? Is he already scaling for maybe 1 week or maybe for a few months? And also okay, is it really a competitor, a B competitor, or maybe a C competitor? And also the gender, what kind of gender is he scaling basically? And also the approach, maybe he's running product pages, maybe he's running collection pages, and all that kind of stuff, right? And also write down the ad copy, write down exactly what kind of hook or sale he's using, so you can really build a good database per market as well, so you can really break down okay, I see a good pattern right now. I see most people, for example, in Poland scaling with these kind of sales, So you really want to break that down, and later on you can really profit from this. Why? Eventually it's all about momentum, guys. It's all about market momentums, research, and when you do a lot of research, when you do also a lot of competitor research, you will see patterns. You will see exactly how people are scaling, with what kind of hooks, with what kind of sales, and also in which markets. So also write these momentums down. And basically, what do I mean with momentum? Writing for yourself down, okay, in which market, for example, that specific month, do I see most people scaling in? May, you see most people scaling in France, maybe, right? So always write that down for yourself, because next year you can basically scale in that market as well, right? So really make sure to write that down as well, because at the end of the day, it's all about momentums. It's really, or you're going to ride a wave, or you're going to ride against it, right? And you would rather ride the wave than ride against it, because you will make so much more money. Your ROAS will be so much better than basically when you're riding against the wave. And also for yourself, when you write these competitors down, put in notes okay, maybe how many ad spend does he do per day? And so you can really calculate okay, this guy, maybe his total spend right now is maybe 1,400 a day. when you do product research as well, so like when you do product research as well with Dino's, right? And then you see exactly like, okay, he's on average spending, 1,500 a day. So when you combine it with the ROAS 2 or 3, then he's probably doing around 3 to 4.5K a day. So, and then you can define him as an A, B, or C competitor in that market. So please make sure to do this, guys, because this is a really underrated hack. And guys, once you get all these competitors in your sheet, it's really, really important to find all of the winning products. Why? Eventually, what's really important is when you also found their winning products, you also see what works for them. Like, what kind of sale are they exactly running? What kind of specific ad copy are they running? And that's really, really important, because I always use ChatGPT prompt to basically break down the ad copies from my competitors as well. Why? Like, you really want to get the snowball effect, right? So here it is still small. Eventually it will get bigger, 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 right? You really want to get the snowball effect in. The more competitors you find, the more ad copies you can basically break down as well. And also the more keywords you get in your list equals the more competitors you can find again, right? Like, that's just really some secret sauce for like the product research, guys. Take advantage of it. Please use it, because you cannot sleep on this shit, guys. Which brings us to like the second topic, how I optimize my store for CVR and AOV. Let's begin with CVR. What's eventually really important is like you have a specific sale now. So maybe you're running an anniversary sale right now. Like there's a sale that's really commonly used in the USA right now. So like let's say you're running an anniversary sale right now. What's really important is when you're running sales like this is that the messaging is correct. So the messaging should be in like the ad copy. The messaging should be in, for example, the collection lander. The messaging should be also below the add to cart. And the messaging should also be in the cart drawer. And why? When the urgency is really high like this, the messaging is just way more effective. So basically this messaging should be everywhere. So guys, like this is a small example. So what's really important is here, for example, in the announcement bar, they're running a Black Friday sale. And there's also some urgency behind it. And again, when you scroll down a bit, again, on the collection lander, it exactly states, okay, Black Friday sale again. That's why we're having these, stacking discounts. For example, when you go on the product page, then again, there's here some urgency. Black Friday sale ends today up to 80% off. So the messaging is everywhere the same. And when you go into the cart drawer, like this is a really big mistake from the competitor actually. It says our anniversary sale ends today, but it should be Black Friday, of course. But like when this messaging is correct, like when you have it in your announcement bar, when you have it on your collection lander, product page, cart drawer, basically everywhere, then the messaging is good. And guys, that's exactly how I'm making my stores work with in terms of CPR. The messaging should fit. And besides that, what's more important? Besides that, this page speed is really important. So always make sure to check your page speed, and also don't use too many apps. So for example, in this case from this store, I don't really use UpCart for example, like to get this cart. I really want my site as fast as possible. So I always have everything custom coded, so no mistakes from, for example, UpCart can happen. And my site is basically as fast as it can be. Because the faster your store is, the higher your store will convert. So please make sure to always have a really fast site, because that's just really necessary. Besides that, what did I do more to get also a high AOV for my store? So let's break it down. Like at the end of the day, guys, get a good AOV and also a good LTV for your store are mainly a few simple things. So what's really important is you run always collection landers. So the more collections you run, the higher your AOV will be. Like only this change will get your AOV from, for example, $45 to, like 80. And what did I more do? Of course, you have good post-purchase upsells. But no, we're not using like the same item and then with the discounts, because your backend will become a mess. I see too many people using that, and yeah, like guys, you will just fuck yourself. So please don't use that. Like what you basically need to do, like you have, for example, a specific sweater collection, right? And when they've bought from the sweater collection, you have to basically redirect them back into that sweater collection in like an upsell. So not only the same item, but then with a discount. No, they get the selection of for example, 6 products or 8 products that are from that collection, but different products as what they've bought. And that way you will get a good upsell in and not fuck up your whole backend while doing it. So in this alone, brings in, a good €10 on top of my AOV. And that's really important, because this will already bring, to at least $90 to $100. And guys, what do I more do? Like, of course, we always have good email flows in place and good email campaigns. So we always get maximum revenue from all channels, and this will again be around 40% of all of our revenue. This is basically free as money. And besides that, we always use SMS marketing as well, which brings us at least, around 2.5% additional revenue. So when you combine all of these things, of course you will make more money. Of course you will get more money to spend on ads. And when you have more money to spend on ads, you can outbid competitors, because at the end of the day, it's just an auction, right? Facebook is just a bidding platform, and you need to outbid your competitors basically. So guys, really make sure to implement this in your store and scale today. And guys, if you really want to learn more and really want to scale your store and change your life and want to go for 1 or 2K days to 10K days, 50K days, 20K days, make sure to check out the link down below, because I recently opened like a private community in a circle of killers that want to achieve the same thing. And you can learn directly from me, but guys, it's only selection only, because we only want killers in there. So guys, make sure to apply through the link down below, and maybe I will see you guys inside. And guys, now I'm going to break down exactly how I launch the ads. So for my US stores, it's basically quite simple. I always run with a 200 euros budget for collection page. For anyone that's watching, please make sure to do just 100 and not 200, because you will burn your whole margin while doing it. And I always run 3 ad sets, but this is only when having a fresh new store. I always run broad, I always run engage shoppers, and I always run a keyword that's specifically for my product. So let's say clothing. And in all of these ad sets, I have 10 creatives. And guys, this is really important, because what most guys are fucking doing, they are just basically gambling. They just have a collection page on 50 euro budget, maybe 2 creatives inside of it, a USA market, and they're crying when it's not working. Guys, at the end of the day, especially in the USA market, it's all about content. It's all about targeting different markets with different types of content. And at the end of the day, guys, my win rate is so good because I always have, a lot of content and also analyze. And analyzing is the most important thing when running Facebook ads. Like, what will happen is I will target 10 different types of content and also in 3 different pockets. And what I do is, like, I let it spend more. So I'm not going to let it spend like 10 euros, then I kill it like most people do, because they're just gambling. No, I'm going to let it spend a little more, and I'm just going to break down exactly with Shopify, with TrackB, with Facebook itself, like, okay, where are, for example, the add to carts from? Where are the checkouts coming from? Maybe you already get a sale in. Where is that coming from? Because what will happen when you do a strategy like this is like, okay, maybe it will spend, it spent 100. Maybe it spent 30 here. Maybe it spent, 40 there. And again, it maybe spent 30 there. And it also spent 10 different creatives. But because you test so many creatives with different ad sets, like, there is definitely a creative that does perform, that has a good CPC, has a good CPM, has a good CTR. Because of this method, I always got in USA market a 80 cents CPC, a 90 cents CPC with a really high CPM though, but still with a really good CTR, so my CPC stays low. Also, when I'm talking about a higher CPM, I'm talking about 30-40. And guys, what's really important is you will identify these winning creatives and put it in like an isolation campaign, put that whole budget only for these 2 creatives or 3 or 4 creatives. And what you will see is you will get momentum. And when you get momentum, you can scale, and then you can also add more campaigns with more content, and you can do the same thing. Because at the end of the day, it's all about content, and you want to find the best content, the best creatives that scale you from A to B. So this way, with these kind of methods, you will not be gambling like most people do. No, you have already tested 10 creatives with 3 different ads that you have targeted multiple pockets with 10 different types of content, and you let it spend a little more, and now you already found your first winner. So that's really important. You don't want to gamble, no, you want to move on data. And that's at the end of the day really important. So always make sure to read it as well with, with TrackB dashboard, with also your meta dashboard, with also your Shopify analytics, and go to reports and then sessions by landings page. Really important, guys. Guys, at the end of the day, it's not all about serve scaling or doubling budget, stuff like that. No, analyzing when testing is even more important, because basically analyzing is where the whole magic will happen. So please make sure to do this the right way. Guys, what do I exactly do when I find some momentum going and I don't want to lose, a lot of margin? Now you've already isolated and it's already getting profitable. So, it's maybe a ROAS 3. Second day it's ROAS of, for example, 2.8. What you're going to do, of course, you're going to scale it, right? So let's say in my situation, I will scale this to 400 after the second day. And like, let's say the third day, I wake up and, you know, check the stats, and in market time USA, it's already 9 a.m. ROAS is good, it's performing. What do I do? Of course, I'm going to surf skill. So when I'm going to surf skill, I basically continuously am going to up these budgets and basically double these budgets every 2 hours. So I basically really ramp up the spend, so I can basically outperform all my competition. Because when I find a good creative, I want to scale fast. So in one day, I can go from 400 to 3200 in budget, and also test these budgets, because testing budgets is also really important. So when I know, okay, it can run good on, for example, this kind of budget, then I know that I can scale to these kind of budgets, right? But what I do, I scale every few hours. But what's also really important is you don't want to change budgets like 10 times a day, because, you know, it will get a mess and Facebook doesn't like that. Like, I really try to put a limit of like 4 times a day on it. So really important, guys. But when you're scaling like this, you also want to have a method where, like, when it goes wrong, you can, you know. So what's really important here? It's like, let's say, guys, you scale, you double budgets, and it doesn't work out. I always use the 70% downscale method. And what do I exactly mean with that? It's like, let's say you've scaled to 400 and midday, 12 p.m. It's really shit. And I always downscale, for example, from 400 to, you know, 120, so I can basically really, you know, put a break on the spend, and it will basically end up break even. And like, when you have a lot of campaigns, you have multiple stores, you really want to use a method like this, because otherwise you will burn all your money. And at the end of the day, you can always go back to like the scale spend and try it for day 2, or you can basically move it to like the previous budget. This is just in simple terms how I launched my ads in the US, and also how I scaled them, and also downscaled when needed to never lose margin. And guys, now we're basically at like the final topic, and how I use my backend to keep everything profitable and stable. Like, guys, there are a lot of different things that are really important. Of course, you want to have good quality checks of the products that you're scaling. You want to have, like, you know, like, you want to have a stock check. Of course, you also want the availability of like every product, that you have like the colors, the sizes, stuff like that. Because what will eventually happen when you don't, these orders that the supplier doesn't have will become unfulfilled orders, and these unfulfilled orders will become chargebacks, right? It's exactly the same with like the stock check and the quality check. Like, when this is poor, your chargeback rate will definitely go up. So what's really important, guys, is the following. First, always quote before you launch anything. Get the sizes, the colors, that like you exactly know what's available and what's in stock. And before you want to scale, you always want to do like at least a good quality check, because like when you don't have a good quality check in place, everything will fall apart eventually. Like, what's also really important is use a chargeback prevention system. So use Disputifier for this. And you want to use it for chargeback prevention and also for fraudulent orders. So always make sure to keep this in mind. So like, when you do good quality checks, you have the stock checks availability, so we will not get unfulfilled orders, and also a prevention system for fraudulent orders. This will already, you know, drop your chargeback rate by a lot. And what we also do is like, we have systems in place, so basically no customer can see that it's from China, and we also use like custom packaging, so that will basically even drop the chargeback rate for us even more. And also, besides that, guys, we really have a good customer service. We have like response time of like 2 hours, 3 hours, and this is also going to make sure that every problem that a customer has will get solved, you know, the same day or one day later. And guys, this is also in really simple terms how we keep our backend as good as possible, so we don't get these high chargeback rates, so we don't get this huge headache. But of course, there's also more to it. So guys, this is just exactly how I did 290,000 last week with fashion dropshipping, guys. No fucking gambling, no luck or this or that, no, just systems, just a backend where you can make sure that your profit keeps in your company. And also, guys, if you're really serious about changing your life, and if you're really serious about going from 1 or 2k a day, 10k a day or beyond, make sure to apply for my inner circle down below, and maybe I will see you inside, guys. And that was it for this video, and then I will see you guys in the next video. Ciao.